quiet the mind. Have you ever caught yourself feeling that when you see somebody new, when you see a being, have you ever caught yourself feeling that when you see somebody new, when you see this person for the first time in your life, have you ever caught yourself when you see I hope you are understand I hope you are comprehending the opening of this message or this retreat. Have you not caught yourself feeling when you see a new being, when you see somebody new, that somehow you know this person? If you understand that somehow you have met this person before, or maybe you have the feeling of deja vu. Deja vu is, as far as I remember, you can look it up. A deja vu is a French word, and it actually implies that you are having the familiar feelings of you are having you are having the familiar feeling about the experience that you are experiencing in this present moment, if you understand. So sometimes what happens when we come across to a being, sometimes what happens when you sometimes what happens when we come across uh to somebody new, even we have we know that we have not seen this person before, but the person looks very familiar, the being looks very familiar. You understand? It has happened to each and every one of us, and it would happen in the future, or it may happen. It's not promised, however. I'm trying to make a very significant point here. If you look at life not through the eyes of arrogance, not through the eyes of ignorance, you learn a lot basically. When you surpass, when you can see, when you surpass and when you can see through or beyond the barriers or beyond the barriers of physicality, or beyond the barriers of three-dimensional experience, you realize that every experience, this three-dimensional experience, and all the objects, all the thoughts that you are perceiving, all the beings, in other words, or in easy words, to make you understand, humans you come across, familiar humans, not familiar humans, old familiar faces, not so familiar faces, or not familiar at all. When you come across to them sometime, if you see somebody and their face looks new to you, but you have this profound promptness, you have basically this profound promptness in you, that I know this person from somewhere. And then again, your mind goes nuts, because obviously now you are trying to figure out, where do I know this person from? And then you board on the thought, and you just go on a limitless ocean of the thought, and yet you cannot figure out where you know this person from, or where you have met this person. You see, each one of us goes through with these type of feelings. Sometimes I repeat a statement more than once so you can understand the gist to what I'm saying, because I know more than half of you are not even mentally present to in any given situation. More than half of you are not even mentally present. More than half of you are so self occupied. More than half of us, I'm not saying it with any arrogance. You understand? Arrogance is not in me. But sometimes I have to use some intensifiers and not so polite words. You understand? To make you understand, because for me it is more significant to make you understand than to cater your fragile feelings, because even if I cater your fragile feelings, your heart is going to break, because your mind would find a reason to break your heart, because you are totally surrendered and you are totally controlled by your mind. Anyway, when I started delivering this message a few minutes ago, I have told you in numerous ways that you sometimes see somebody. That person is the karma from previous lifetime or the lifetime before or the lifetime before. Person is manifesting in a new form, or person is manifesting person is manifesting in a new form, or person is manifesting in a new accumulation. Person is manifesting in a new form, and the person is manifesting in a new accumulation, if you understand, in a new accumulation. But the essence of the person is the same that you knew, or you left where you left off last time. Your essence and the person's essence were exchanged. Your essence and the person essence were exchanged at some point, not if it not in this lifetime, probably the lifetime before, or the lifetime before that, or the lifetime before that. You have been existed eternally. You just don't remember that, because every time you take a new birth, have you heard the term birth? Every time you take a new birth, you um, have a new brain. You see, the memory you carry, it's on a very surface level. You see, memory actually exists on numerous different levels, but in this moment in time, we would say the memory which exists on a very surface level in your brain, you see, and in that memory you cannot access all the memories that are existing, because then memories extends in form of mind which you wear around you. Remember when I gave you the metaphor, if you take a rubber band and if you wrap the rubber band around your finger, that's how you wrap. Imagine you are the finger and rubber band is the mind. That's how you basically wrap your mind around you. So when you see somebody new and your mind prompts, let me figure this out, that where have I seen this person, and just bowed on me, because of course mine used to be employed. We talked about that yesterday. Um, and you try to figure out, but yet you cannot figure out. This person, your memories were exchanged. The people you work with, you know that. Let me give you more clarity. The people you work with, your energies were exchanged at some point. The people you live with, your energies were exchanged at some point in all the lifetimes that you have lived. Your spouse, your parents, your siblings, the mullah, the rabbi, or the pastor, religious figures, political figures, the whole people you come across with, or even if you are walking at the street and there is a passerby which is coming, that you are coming across to that passerby, a total stranger, your energies were exchanged. You see how sensitive everything is. You see how profound everything is. But you don't pay attention, basically. More than half of the humanity, unfortunately, in living in a form of delusion. They don't even understand the meanings of words, even if you write it down for them. Because they see what they want to see and they cannot get past see that. They're very scared in their cocoon. They That's why they're stuck in numerous and numerous lifetimes in one and one chakra only. And then what happens when nature gets tired of your mind games? It teaches you lesson in a way that you may not very much like. You see, but that's how it is, and that's how it would be. So know that. Hmm. When an unpleasant situation arises, when an unpleasant experience arises, you know how it can manifest. Let me even give you even a profound example how it can manifest. Even let me give you a profound example. It can manifest in the profession, because nature or life has no recognition that you are a sales associate, or you are a manager, or you are a cop, or you are a sinner, or you are a criminal, or you are a thief, or you are a thug, or you are a politician, or you are a president. Nature, you know that, right? The nature and life force has no recognition of these things, because these things you use as a marker to transcend your karma, but life force, prana, or nature has no recognition of that. And if you do not know that, then you are wasting your time finding peace in spirituality. You gotta work on yourself, you understand? Anyway, moving on. So if a very unpleasant situation can be risen, a very unpleasant a very, very unpleasant situation can be risen in form of somebody in your surrounding. Let's give you an example. Have you not caught yourself that you went into a supermarket and you saw a total stranger and you didn't like this person, and then you convince yourself is the person's energy, and you convince yourself that you are an empath? So I've got a news for you, pal. Everybody is an empath, up to some of us. Basically, you want to know the true empath? You want to know the true empath is the one who tries to do something about other people's miseries, you see, who tries to bring transcendence and clarity in people's perception. That's the real empath, not the fake empath that I see humans that they cannot stand somebody because it really messes, or for some reason they let this person screw with their mind, and after that they say, I don't like the energy, I picked up on the energy, and I'm an empath basically, so I withdrew from the situation. That's just a lollipop that you are giving to your brain. That's just a lollipop you are giving to your mind. That's what you do. That's what you live in. You see, you never bother to liberate yourself. Anyway, moving on. So when you go to a supermarket, of course, everybody knows supermarket. Supermarket is rather a British term. In America, we use grocery stores. One way or another, these are just the words. I have no fascination with the words, nor I have any fascination with the English language. Just like any other language, it's a language which I have no high um, reviews or high perceptions about it. This is my first language. I speak it very fluently. I can understand everything and anything, all the accents, but it doesn't mean that I hold it on a very up high scale. There is nothing special about this language. It's just like in any other language, like Sanskrit, like Hindi, like Mandarin, or like Spanish, just like any other language, or Portuguese. Anyway, moving on. So what happens basically, you hear somebody's talking behind, right behind you in the nearby vicinity. You witness basically that somebody is talking right behind you in the nearby vicinity or close by, and their pitch of their voice is so something. It's not that there's something wrong with their voice. You see, that's how you judge people. There is nothing wrong with their voice, no matter how it is. It's just a voice, you see. But you have learned to judge people because of the words and the concepts and of your ideas that you have learned, and you live in that. So you think that there's something really terrible about this person's voice, or how the person is speaking, or how the person is talking. You pay so much attention, and after you convince yourself with some more lies, that, oh, I'm an empath, basically. This person does not carry a good energy. Maybe when you open your mouth, the same opinion that person has about you. How about that? Have you ever thought about that? It works both ways. Anyway, moving on. So do not just jump into the conclusions or form opinions about other people through the concepts and ideas that you have learned, and on the top of everything, you top it up by telling yourself that you are an empath. You are no empath. You are nobody. Everybody is an empath up to a certain extent, but the real empath is who does something about other people's misery while remain among them. You see? That statement itself is enough to liberate you if you pay any attention or if you pay any focus. Anyway, so do not judge or draw conclusions if you find something unpleasant, if you find an experience unpleasant. Let's say you are in customer services. Let's say you are in customer services, and what happens, you are facing a difficult customer who is verbally even abusing you understand. I mean, I have been in customer services for almost 21, 22 years of my life, and I have seen customers like that, but it's okay because we are customers at some point somewhere too. You see, let's say that you are in customer services basically, and a customer is abusing you verbally and calling you names and very upset and saying nasty and bad things. Hypothetically speaking, just for an example, not that it's happening. And now this is what you consider unpleasant situation. As soon as the situation arises, you want to get rid of it. You see, you want to get rid of it. Or let's say that what happened was that you, unfortunately, hypothetically, I'm not wishing you all that, I'm just trying to make you understand through examples. I wish you all the happiness and all the best in your life because you are going to need it. But do some practical. Anyway, moving on. So let's say what happens basically that you unfortunately, God forbid, incurred a loss of some type. And by the way, it happens to each one of us. I have incurred many losses in my life. And you have incurred many losses in your life. It's a fact of life. It's a reality, you see. So we all have incurred, and as soon as we incurred a loss, somebody was let go of the job, somebody basically got in trouble with the authorities while not making the right choices for their life, or somebody basically incurred a loss of a loved one. I mean, it has happened to each one of us, all the humans. Nobody's perfect here, but I'm trying to make a very significant point. Then you linger. You see what happens? Then you linger. If you were let go of a job or you lost something which was really precious, a commodity that you form a band with, you were banding with the commodity, maybe a nice car, maybe some type of gadget, maybe some type of electronic device, and you lost it, and then you basically say, had I not gone to that place, I would not lose it. Had I not driven, I would not lose this. Somebody stole my car. Had I not gone. You see, who is that which is saying? Have you ever pondered yourself so deeply and so profoundly? Who is that which is saying that? It's not you. Just because you are perceiving a thought, it doesn't mean it's the thought is personalized to you. You understand that? I speak with you very blatantly. You see, I have given you an example of the restaurant. If you want to have the Mexican food, and you perceive the thought, I want to have the Mexican food. You arrive in the restaurant, 25 other peoples are sitting over there. It means that the thought was risen at some point in all those 25, 35 people. You see, just because you are perceiving a thought, it does not mean it's your personal thought. I can guarantee you that. So what happens basically, pay attention, that you are perceiving these thoughts which are guilting you. You see, if you, which are guilting you, isn't it a thought guilt? Had I not driven, my car wouldn't be get stolen, or had I not gone into the mall, my phone would be with me. Isn't it guilt? It's guilt, isn't it? You are feeling uncomfortable. But who's the one? Just remember something, it's not you. You are just perceiving the thought. It's the mind of all humanity. It's the mind of all humanity, which the thoughts are flying in, and you just happen to be the one receptive at this moment in time to the thought. You are just a vessel which was receptive. The frequency between the thought and you matched, and you perceived that thought. The thought is flying. It's independent thought. You understand? Frequency based on of your mind frame. And what is mind frame? Basically, mind frame is that you are influenced by your mind. So do not guilt yourself. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Do not try to get rid of the experience or form any final opinions or judgments about that. That's the gist of my message. Just look more profoundly. Do not say that what could I have done or what I should have done. Do not say, do not think in that mind frame. I'm trying to liberate you. As a matter of fact, I'm not trying to liberate you. I am liberating you, if you look at me with a little more focus. So do not get into that drama that I should have done this or I could have done this. It's guilt. Guilt is not good for you. Guilt is demented. It comes from the dark side. You don't want guilt for yourself. The sole concern you have in that moment, what can I do in these given circumstances? If you understand what I'm saying to you, the sole purpose you have in that moment in time, that what can I do right now in this given situation, what best I can do right now in this given situation. If you understand why I'm saying to you, or no, what can I make the best out of this situation? That's how the smart person thinks. That's how the that's how the wise person thinks. Not even thinks. The wise person does not think much. We have a saying in our yogic and meditative culture: real thinkers don't think, if you understand. Because thought is limited. Thought is based on knowledge. Knowledge is limited. You see, if you want to know everything, you must not think. And think only when it is necessary. Then keep the mind aside. We talked about that. We have been talking about that in numerous retreats, not only one. Anyway, so do not think in the mind frame of what could have I done or what should have I done. That is guilt. Guilt no good for you. Just look around, look at your resources basically. See, look around, look at your resources, look at it, what am I given in this situation? Look at it, what am I given in this moment in time? What can I do right now to make things right? Because this is my reality. The first thing about any unpleasant experience or any unpleasant person is to acceptance the situation. Once you accept the situation profoundly, now you learn to emotionally detach. And when you learn to emotionally detach, it brings peace in you. When you learn, when you learn to emotionally detach, it brings peace in you. Once you learn to emotionally detach, it calms you down. The best thing in any chaotic situation you can do to remain calm. If you freak out, everything would freak out. I promise you that. You see, I'm giving you tools, I'm liberating you. You see, so what you would do once you accept the situation profoundly, it calms you down. You see, you accept the situation, you are not in denial. You see, you accept the situation, this is the situation. What can I do better in this situation? You see, you do not, what should have I done? You don't linger and guilt trips, or I shouldn't have done that, or I wouldn't have done that, or I shouldn't have, I couldn't have, or along all these negative things. You look at your experience and you say, basically, what it is trying to teach me. And the only thing that you, and the only way you would get there, You would acquire that kind of awareness when you learn to accept the experience first, not getting rid of it without any guilt. The next step, it would calm you down. When it calm you down, you can resolve the situation. You would not be emotionally attached to the situation. If you understand what I mean, you would not have any emotional reaction because you are relating to the experience, to the three-dimensional experience, or the beings through your physicality, and you know that you are not your physicality. See, so ponder on it, what I said. Ponder on. Just because you are perceiving a thought, it does not mean it's your personal thought. I gave you some tools. I brought some clarity in your perception. Ponder what I said. And you do these things by simple practices, basically. You do these things by simple practices, making your everyday experience. You do these things through meditation when you take charge of your life. Otherwise, you just keep carrying guilt, you just keep carrying remorse, you just keep carrying the sadness or the remorse of the loss. That's no good for you if you carry it for a longer period of time. Now watch my words, what I'm telling you, it's very significant. If you carry it for a longer period of time, or this is how you live, it would imprint on your karma. And if it imprints on your karma, the tendencies, after we shed the body, we would survive through our tendencies. So know what you are doing. The choices you are making in this present moment right now is making you. Know this. The choices you are making in this present moment right now are making you what you are. No? Come on, meditate with me. All right. Just don't rush to do something else. Meditate. Learn to be silent. Sarvam Kalvidan Brahma. Sarvam. Sarvam Kalvidan Brahma. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. Aham Brahma. Sarvam. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. Aham Brahma. Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. Aham Brahma. Aham Brahmasmi.